coverage of the Hurricane Helene relief efforts. I'm standing right here with County Commissioner Terry Ramey. Terry, you have taken us up and down. John, if you want to show right behind us, we have a sheltering group with RVs, campers, and you could also see a lot of the debris that washed up. You said that this river has doubled in size. Could you please speak to us about what has happened to this Clyde community?
Well, it just devastated the people who live here. You know, a lot of them were flooded. All these houses on both sides were flooded, and we're trying to get everybody in campers or something, you know, keep them warm and stuff.
So we've heard a lot about the temporary housing vouchers. In Asheville proper, we'd heard that lots of people's FEMA vouchers expired today. They're getting booted. Is that something that Clyde is facing?
Yes, there's a lot of them expires, but I think it's a lot of them that haven't responded or haven't responded to FEMA, or FEMA hadn't been able to do inspection on their house or something like that. So most of the ones that are ending today, I think.
So Clyde, how many of its residents are in temporary housing? We'll talk specifically hotels, motels.
As of Monday at our commissioners meeting, I think they reported to us that there were 212 families, which is 1.1 or 2.1 people per family, I think is the way they figure it.
So around 200, 300 people.
Well, about 400 people, because there's 212 families.
And is there a plan for where they will go post-hotel, post-motel? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's what we've got to figure out. What we're going to do with these people. FEMA hasn't. We've turned in a lot of not surveys, but we've turned in a lot of different properties that we thought would suit FEMA, and they've not returned the people's calls back that have the properties.
When you say that, what are some of the requirements for FEMA sheltering people?
Well, they have to have a place that's got water, sewer, and electricity, and a good road into it is some of the stipulations before they'll even look at the properties.
And have you found places that meet that criteria?
Yes, sir. I think the county's turned in several different sites, but FEMA hasn't gave us an answer back yet.
How has your correspondence with FEMA been throughout this process?
Well, when it first happened, I saw them everywhere. You know, and they were in here a whole lot helping, and they've had somebody here the whole time trying to take applications and all that stuff. So they've been here a whole lot, but we're trying to figure out what's going to happen now. You know, now people still, when they come out of these motels, in my opinion, they're still going to have the same needs they had when they went into motels. My position is, I feel like if they'd spent some of this money and went ahead and built some of these locations to put these FEMA homes on, we'd be ahead of the game right now by having them FEMA trailers already here. Because now we're still starting, we've not got no trailer. I think they've got 5 campers in here right now with FEMA, but we've not got none of the FEMA trailers or nothing in yet.
Wait, FEMA has 5 campers in all of Clyde?
I think Haywood County's got. I asked the FEMA representative at our meeting on Monday, and he said they had 5 campers set up in Haywood County, FEMA campers.
Because we just interviewed someone, and if you're watching along with this at home with the status quo coverage, the man who is anonymous, who we just interviewed in Clyde, and have you seen help from the local government in getting people shelter, food, and back on their feet?
I've seen minimal help from the government. I got involved by bringing supplies and a generator to my mom and dad. I've seen the devastation and just kept coming back from Kentucky, bringing loads in until I could establish this. It's minimal help from anybody, really. It's like Clyde was forgotten about.
He had more than 5 campers on his property alone.
Well, that's volunteers bringing those campers in. We've had volunteers bring camper after camper after camper. Well, all these campers you see are volunteers who have brought them in, and we've had campers from Canada, Arizona. We've got campers from many, many miles away. And it's been volunteers that donate them.
So Clyde's about 22 minutes from Asheville.
Correct. Have you had a good showing of volunteers and people donating to this cause?
So it's just picking up. The volunteers are mostly flood victims themselves. The lady that lost her home behind the funeral home, and the landowner here that's allowed me to put the trailers and store all the donations here. But that's it.
Almost everyone we have spoken to says that they do not believe that that number is accurate. Do you have anything to say on that matter?
I don't think it's accurate.
Is there any way that they could contact you or contact what you have going on?
Really, it's just my Facebook page. That's how everybody's doing it. Helene's Blue Collar Relief from Kentucky. I mean, if we can get help, so be it.
So something that we've seen as we go throughout Western North Carolina is that community focus, like not to generalize, but a lot of the constituents and citizens that we've talked to, not people that are elected officials, have felt let down by FEMA and the government, but have been picked up by community leaders, even people who came from out of state to make donations. How do you feel about the communities coming together?
Well, I've never seen it happen this good before. I mean, the people, they've been wonderful as far as donating campers. They've donated many campers and tractor and trailer after tractor trailer load of supplies, and we had the fairgrounds open for a collection point right after FEMA for a couple months, and we had so many supplies. We sent them to every one of the distribution centers and the fire departments and the churches. We stocked all the churches and fire department up, but we're going to continuously need these supplies for a while. That's the reason that we shut down a lot of the distribution centers, and I sort of wish we, were able to keep some of them open because we're going to need supplies for a long time.
So you are someone who's a community leader, you're an elected official. What are some of the major needs for Clyde, North Carolina at this moment?
Well, gas for generators, propane. As you can see in my old truck, I've got a whole load of propane. We deliver propane when people's out of a night or whatever. We try to keep some ahead to where we can keep everybody warm, and that's our main concern, is keeping everybody fed and warm.
So you explain the need for propane, and that's because a lot of these houses, we've been told, either don't have electricity right now or have been completely abandoned, which is why people are in campers and hotels and such. So could you explain a bit about the need of propane, or even tell us how many houses you think have been abandoned in Clyde?
Well, there's a whole lot of them. They've not been abandoned, but they've not been able to build back yet and stuff, and they have to wait on FEMA to give them permission to build back, and and different agencies help build them back. And we've got a lot of good groups in here, like Baptist on Mission, and that are helping. But we've got people like waiting on the insurance or either waiting on FEMA. But now these campers, you're talking about the propane. These campers, have you ever tried to heat a camper in the wintertime?
No.
They go through a lot of propane because they're designed for summertime, And they go through a whole lot of propane, and that's the reason we're needing propane a lot more than what we got. We need gas for generators because, like you say, there's a lot of them don't have electricity. We're having to operate off of generators. So that's one of the needs. And then, just warm weather stuff or cold weather stuff right now. And then, as we go on into the next phases, we'll need different stuff.
So this is one of the harsher questions I have to ask, but everyone we've talked to says that they do not believe the state death toll of 104, 105. Even I looked up how many people were dead because of the hurricane and its ongoing effects in Clyde alone, and the number was suspiciously low. It was something like 5 or 6. What do you have to say about the death toll? Do you take it at face value?
Well, in Haywood County, I believe our death toll is probably pretty correct because we had Tropical Storm Fred, before this. We were more prepared than most counties because we had already been through this one time. It wasn't near this big or this widespread, but we were, prepared a lot better than a lot of counties were for it, and so that saved a lot of lives.
That's very good to hear. What else do you think people should think that has had any effect in the building back process?
Well, in Haywood County overall, I believe right now we're over 70% over 65 in Haywood County, not just Clyde, but Haywood County. And that's I'm a county commissioner, so I speak of stuff as a whole county. Clyde's got their, Clyde's a municipality in Waynesville and Canton and Maggie Valley. They're municipalities here within Haywood County. And I think that's what kept our death toll down and stuff, is being a little more prepared. We've got a real good emergency management team and stuff here that really stepped up and done a great job. All of our staff did.
What is the largest hurdle you've had in trying to bring relief, housing, and just overall necessities to people?
Well, just find a place to put these campers and get them to relax the ordinances a little bit and the zoning a little bit or not zoning, the county don't have zoning, but the municipalities have zoning, and get them to lift some of the requirements so we can put people in campers and stuff and keep them warm and stuff.
Is there anything else you think the people of America or the people watching internationally should know and understand about your municipality or just Western North Carolina in general?
Well, it's just that we've never seen nothing like this. This is they're calling it now a 1,000-year flood, but we've never seen nothing like this, and we're working our way through it, and we appreciate everybody's help, and, if they can help in the best way they can, and fuel or automobiles, anything like that. A lot of people lost a bunch of automobiles, and anybody wants to, donate automobiles or campers, feel free to let us know, and we'll get them in touch with the right people, or donate funds or supplies, because we're going to need them for a while. They're saying it'll take 10 years to ever come back to normal.
That was my next question, is what is the preparation going forward? Because hurricane season's going to come every year, and having people in campers during hurricane season is not ideal.
Right. We want to get them back into stable housing and stuff, and get everything back to normal as quick as we can. And we've got a lot of organizations stepping up to help build back, and stuff. So we really appreciate that. And we're going to get on it fast. We got the people have really stepped up, and they've helped us, and the local people have really stuck together. And, naturally you're going to have a little bit of bickering back and forth. You're going to have scammers. You're going to have all that stuff, and we've had all of it, and we're still having it. But working together, they really stepped up and showed how tight the people really are when they need to be.
Well, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you talking with us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Once again, Status Quo is the only media outlet I've run into on this trip. Usually when we're out on trips like this, you see other media outlets, you see other people out, but Status Quo is the only independent news outlet on the ground here in North Carolina. Please support and subscribe.